Think of the greatest supervillain of all time, across all comic books that you've ever read, if you have read any, the one that challenges the hero's might, will, and soul. The one that creates a situation that the hero cannot possibly get out of without compromising who he is. The villain that in the end will get what he wants. The one that cannot be stopped. The one that calls on the full force of the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four, and still triumphs. The one that can ascend to godhood across the entire cosmos and host a tournament between all good and bad guys for his own entertainment. You thinking of him? I don't think you are. Because the answer is Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom is the son of a thief and a witch. The witch whose soul was claimed by Mephistopheles when Victor was very young, and he vowed to one day retrieve her and bring her back to the living. And of course, being the son of a witch, you're going to be shunned somewhat. So the entire country of Latveria turned on him, and he was so determined that he took his intellect to the States and made a name for himself as an inventor. And in college, he came across your boy, Mr. Fantastic. Back then, Reed Richards was nothing more than just, a student with exceptional gifts. And Dr. Doom had created a machine that he originally intended to use to go to Mephisto's realm and retrieve his mother. But it wasn't gonna work. Something in it was a bit faulty. And for all of Victor's intelligence, he couldn't spot this flaw. And when Reed put it out to him, he was like, "Hey, yo, you're lying to me." So he uses it anyway, and it explodes in his face, leaving a scar across his eye. He figured he was so hideous that he returned home and decided that he had to mask his face. So he forged himself an iron mask, the one that you see whenever you look up Dr. Doom. And for some reason, before he let it cool enough to actually apply it to his face, he stuck it on, searing it to his flesh and damaging his countenance even further. But from there, he went on to master science to a higher degree and manipulate sorcery on a level that even Doctor Strange couldn't quite match. He even built himself a time machine and used it to travel back to the day that Jesus the Christ of Nazareth was crucified, and took splinters from that cross so that he'd be vampire-proof forevermore. He returned home and through a little bit of force took over his home country and gave himself a doctorate, which is why he's known as Dr. Victor Von Doom. But once that happened, things kind of became okay. He's not such a bad guy after all. The people of Latveria actually love him. He's a fair dictator. And once he invaded Wakanda to steal vibranium to make himself a better suit, and he entered the Great Mound, the vault of all vibranium, which is guarded by Boss, the Panther Goddess. And the way that she judges you is she reads your soul, and if she senses anything wicked within you, she'll kill you in an instant. And she told Dr. Doom that she saw the millions of pathways into the future, and the only one that leads to a peaceful Earth with no struggles and no suffering is the one where Doom rules all. So you mean to tell me that this guy, with all his arrogance and intelligence and his mastery of sorcery, isn't a bad guy? I mean, he took over his home nation by force. Yeah, but once that happened, he was pretty okay. I mean, from then he's done some questionable things, but overall, he just wants to rule the world so that he can fix the world. He's almost gotten there, but the good guys don't exactly see his perspective, so they always think that they have to stop him. But it doesn't always work. A lot of times he is tricked and defeated by way of his own arrogance, but other times he comes prepared, and the full force of Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four are not quite enough to defeat him. We're talking a sharper mind than the comics Black Panther and Reed Richards, likely combined. Just a little bit arrogant, which is what slips him up most of the time. And we're talking a more proficient sorcerer than Doctor Strange. There's two Sorcerer Supremes, and one of them is Dr. Doom. And we're also talking a mechanical suit that dwarfs the capabilities of the Iron Man armor. Dr. Doom's suit comes with miniaturized asteroids that he can fire out of his gloves that will then expand to full size and destroy the room. He's also capable of channeling energy from another dimension called the negative zone, which he uses in most battles because it proves to be effective because it puts whatever he hits it with in a state of flux between existence and non-existence at any given moment. His suit comes equipped to deactivate Spider-Sense on a will. Whenever he wants to, he can cripple Spider-Man's most reliable superpower. And he can also deactivate the mutant X gene whenever he wants. In short, Dr. Doom comes strapped with a weapons system, magic, and an intellect that just can't be matched by any selection of heroes. Which makes him not only the best as far as concept goes, but he's also one of the best realized villains. And not to go too far into that because I don't want to spoil everything there is about Doctor Doom, but I just want to give you a brief rundown on why I think he's the greatest villain. And that's just my opinion, and that's what you come here for after all. So, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click anywhere on the screen to see more.